What's good everyone, it's Afro, I'm Mo. Welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to show you Logic Pro shortcuts that I use on a daily basis in every session. Not just shortcuts that fill up a video that you'll never use. These are shortcuts you'll actually use. So before we get into it, I just want to show you a couple things that you should set up Logic in a way to get you to that pro level. First thing you want to do is go over to the top left hand corner where it says Logic Pro and go over to settings and go over to general. Next, you want to go over to editing and make sure that you have right mouse button selected to is an assignable tool. This way you'll get 3 tools over here and you can always manipulate 3 different items at any given time. And also, if you're anything like me and you want to start off each software instrument track on a blank slate, this is what you do. Click the new track over here. Under software instruments, make sure the instrument down here is selected to empty channel strip. This way, every time you create a new channel strip or software instrument track, it's going to be a blank slate and you don't have to remove anything that you don't want there. Now, let's get to those shortcuts. All right, so I broke it down into the tracks view over here and the MIDI view. If you work a lot with MIDI, this is definitely going to help. I'm going to create an audio region by hitting the command key, and my second tool is a pencil tool. So if I hold down the command key and click, that is a MIDI region. That's not a shortcut. Here's the one I want to show you. So if you go ahead and select that region and hit U on your keyboard, that's going to give you a cycle range around that region and it'll loop out for you. Now I use this all the time because if you have many different sort of sections in your track and you want to just loop this section, all you got to do is hit U and it jumps right there rather than fumbling around and going like this in the cycle bar. Just select your region, hit U, and it just loops that region automatically. And if you want to toggle that on and off, all you got to do is hit C. C turns that on and off. The next one I want to show you is something I use on a daily basis. I always bounce down my MIDI in my sessions to audio and sort of massage it from there. I'm just going to go put in an instrument here. Let's go to piano, Simon Grand piano. We'll put in like some crazy melody here. Just like that. And now I want to bounce that down to audio. So I'm going to click that region and I'm going to go Control B on my keyboard. You can leave the default settings that load up, click OK. Logic will bounce that in place. And now you have an audio region from that MIDI region. The reason why I actually bounce my MIDI regions to audio is for this reason alone. I like to reverse my audio a lot in my productions just to hear how it sounds. So to do that, the shortcut is, well, first select your audio region, then go Control Shift R, and that reverses that audio region. As a bonus tip, before you reverse your audio, sometimes you'll have to rearrange the placement of your audio because once you reverse it, everything goes backwards. So before I do that, I usually like to chop up my region in certain spots to make sure everything is reversed but in the same spot. So to do that, I'm going to use my third tool over here, which is currently set to our scissor tool. Remember what we did at the beginning of the video. And I'm going to go chop it up this region by bars. So I'm going to bring my locator to the first bar, hold down the Option key, and then right click to use that third tool. And that chops up that region by 4 times because I have a 4 bar length loop here. If I want to chop that up for 8s, I'm going to bring that back here. Let's go ahead and chop that up just like that. And if I want to do it by 16s, just like that. Now this one is something I use all the time when I'm arranging. If you want to go ahead and sort of loop out your regions, I don't like to use L on my keyboard because that just gives you like this unlimited loop thing that you don't really want. All you should do is select the regions you want to loop and go Command R, and I'll just loop out that region or repeat that region as many times as you click and not for the entire session. Next up, I usually like to manipulate my audio as a whole, as a group. And what I do for that is select both of my tracks over here. And I'm going to go Shift Command G, and that will create a track stack for that. So I could go ahead and add effects and manipulate these 2 tracks as a whole. And as a bonus, here's something I use all the time when I'm arranging as well. If you just go ahead and select a region and hit M, you can go ahead and mute and unmute that. Just M on your keyboard. You can go ahead and select as many regions as you like. Just a quick way to bring in and out elements as you arrange. Next up, let's get to the piano roll. So I'm going to open up this MIDI region over here. And the first thing I want to show you is how to quickly quantize your MIDI notes. All you got to do here is to quantize all those notes to whatever you set over here. Select them all. You can select them all with your mouse or go Command A and hit Q on your keyboard, and it'll quantize it to the value you have set here. Next, something I use all the time. If I want to stretch my notes to hit the next note in line, this is very cumbersome to do it manually. All you got to do is select all your notes and go Shift Backspace, and it'll stretch legato or force legato so that every note will hit the next one in line. Now, if you have overlapping notes, let's just do something like this. You can go ahead and select all your notes and hit just that backspace button. and it's going to bring back all the overlapping notes so that it doesn't get overlapped onto the next one. Next one, this is something you need to know if you are trying to pitch your notes up and down very easily. You can go ahead and select all your notes or select one note as you need and go Option and arrow up down to move it up and down by semitones, or Shift Option arrow up and down to move it by octaves. You can also move the arrow left right to select between notes, or you can hold down Shift and arrow left right to select the notes and then do Option up and down for semitones, Shift Option up and down for octaves. Now for chords, if you're playing out chords or sort of programming in chords and you have notes that all have different lengths like this, and you want to go ahead and stretch that out, except they're not all the same length, and you want to just bring that out manually, you don't have to do that. All you got to do is select those notes and hold down the Shift key and click 1, and it'll be locking them all to the same length, just like that. Once again, select your notes, hold down the Shift key, press any MIDI note, and they get stretched out to the same length. So in MIDI, you should always be playing with your velocity. In your piano roll, you can have a different third tool over here. So right now I have it set to velocity. As you can see in my tracks here, I have it set to scissors. So if I go ahead and use that right click that we set up at the beginning of the video, I could go ahead and change the velocity just by holding the right click and going over a note and changing the velocity like that. Makes things very easy. But what if each note had a different velocity, right? And you want to make them all the same velocity? All you got to do is select the notes and go Option Shift, hold it down and right click for that velocity tool, and it'll all be the same velocity, just like that. Or what you could do if you don't want to use that third tool, select all your notes, hold down Option Shift and move the velocity slider right over here. And you'll have all the same velocity on all your notes. So that right there is 10 plus some bonus tips along the way for the shortcuts that I use on a daily basis. If you do have any question on this or just want to chat, let me know down below. If you have some shortcuts that you use yourself personally and they're not on this list, let us know down below, share it with the community. But other than that, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new and we'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.